Let me now bring on board Mr. S. Narsingh Rao, Chairman of Coal India, who joins us from New Delhi. Mr. Rao, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Let me first understand your analysis of what Union Budget 2013 has done for a resource company like Coal India.
As you know, the budget really doesn't have directly much to do with the Coal India because it is a public sector company. However, you would have seen in the Finance Minister's speech, he has emphasized the role of PPP projects in stepping up the production. We are working in that direction, but it has to be within the framework of the Coal Mines Nationalization Act. Therefore, we are evolving a procedure how really we can go ahead with this PPP model.
Right. So give us your analysis on the budget. I mean, are the announcements positive for the coal sector in general? What has been your takeaway?
See, essentially there were two indirect impacts on the coal sector. One is of course on the railway budget, where about 5.8% increase in the freight. That generally, the freight is passed on to the consumer, so we will not have direct impact on us, but nevertheless it will have an impact on overall coal sector. So secondly, the government also has rationalized the import duty, that is a customs and countervailing duty on the import of coal. Again, in the scenario of huge coal deficit, that would not really have any impact on us. It does have some impact on the importing entities, but not directly the Coal India.
Mr. Rao, the street is divided on your production target for FY13. I'm picking up feelers that you will not be able to achieve your FY13 production target. Is that true?
Yes. On the production side, we are lagging behind. Certainly, our target is we set for FY13 464 million tons. As of now, we are lagging behind by about 11 to 12 tons in a pro rata basis. I'm not sure how much we will be able to step up beyond that, so that we go beyond 452. But certainly, I would like to say, both for the the market and the consumers, what matters end of the day is coal deliveries to the consumers. That we are more or less on track. Our FY13 target is 470 million tons. We are more or less on track.
Mr. Rao, the government is also looking at public-private partnerships for developing coal mining in India. Have you had discussions with the ministry on the same, and by when can we see the process being kick-started?
Yeah, as I said, certainly the finance minister has made this announcement in the budget speech. We are in discussion with the coal ministry and also the other agencies in the government. Now, what essentially that means, according to our understanding at the moment, is basically we have to award the contracts on a turnkey basis. As of now, we are basically doing in a bits and pieces, like coal production or overburden removal or coal transportation, etc. Whereas we'll be taking up some greenfield projects and entrusting the entire thing on a turnkey basis. So that expedites our project implementation. That also takes away the uncertainties in terms of the production. So it will help us boosting the coal production.
Mr. Rao, recently there has been an increase in your wage costs as well for contract laborers. What's the total cost increase due to this, and will Coal India look at passing on this cost?
Well, yeah, you're right. We have revised the contract labor's remuneration recently. That our understanding is, our estimate is at the moment is about 250 to 300 crores per annum increase. Therefore, we are keeping that in mind. Appropriate time we will take a decision to how to make that up.
Looking at a price hike then, because that has been talked about extensively by Coal India shareholders and industry participants as well.
Yes, that option is there. We are constantly watching the cost of production month by month, and when the board of directors of the company thinks appropriate, we'll take a decision.
How soon could we see a decision on that, though?
I'm afraid I can't give the timeline for that, but we are consciously aware of that.
Since we are now less than 3 weeks away from beginning of a new financial year, what could be your FY14 production target?
So we are actually contemplating to sort of do away with the production target, but what target we are taking is the coal supplies. That is a dispatch target. Of course, it goes without saying, unless we produce, we cannot supply. So there has to be certain consequences of this production being different from the offtake, etc. To do away with that, we are slightly rationalizing this concept. Therefore, we are setting up a target, what I consider is the dispatch target, which is most appropriate. So we have set a target of 492 million tons for next year.
Mr. Rao, PCI has been regularly expressing its displeasure over coal pricing and various other issues. Have you had any further meeting with the fund?
Not really. So. Okay. Yes, we got a letter recently about 2 weeks ago demanding for higher dividend. That is quite expected. Any shareholder has a right, and also it is expected that shareholders demand much higher dividend. That's fine, but the board of directors will take a call on that.
Have you responded to that letter?
Well, I don't think we can respond. We have 750,000 shareholders. We keep getting so many requests, suggestions, but we'll certainly say we go through that contents and we'll take appropriate action based on that.
Right. Just taking a note from that point that you were just making, there is a board meet this month for a possible dividend payout we hear. Is there going to be a special dividend to distribute the cash in Coal India's books?
Well, there is a board meeting we have slated for 14th. Certainly, this board is going to discuss about the interim dividend. The details, of course, would be known once the board decides.
Mr. Rao, I would also like to draw your attention to your FSA, agreement with NTPC. Now, NTPC wants the FSA in place. NTPC is blaming Coal India. Coal India is blaming NTPC. What is going on? The nation needs power. And here we have a situation where two PSUs cannot reach a common ground.
Well, so as you said, we are blaming them. We are not really blaming them at all. I would like to clarify that it is the ball is in their court, not now, from September onwards. But certainly, initially they have expressed certain reservations. Some of them we have addressed, some of them we have clarified. Now, as I've been always saying on your the channel and elsewhere also, that FSA or no FSA, the NTPC continues to get coal from us on the MOU. So that's more of a formality. I'm not undermining the importance of FSAs, but without FSAs, if you really see both the old and new plants together, we have delivered 17% growth over the last year to the NTPC as I speak to you today.
Mr. Rao, the NTPC chairman was on my show last week and he pretty much flagged off that, look, we want to sign an FSA with Coal India. The only problem is that Coal India is not ready to a good quality coal. That was his argument.
I appreciate that, but there is also a framework within the FSA. Now, this coal is going on for at least since nationalization. Coal India is supplying coal to NTPC. It is not as though the quality issue arose only yesterday or day before. There is a provision for a joint sampling mechanism. Therefore, we should invoke that. We also have decided unilaterally on our own to engage even a third party for the sampling also. Not only joint sampling, but a third party sampling following the international code of practices. So that's all I can do about it. And based on the whatever is the actual calorific value realization, we'll be charging them.
The finance minister, Mr. Rao, clearly has indicated that PSUs have two options. Either they can expand or they can give a dividend. You are a cash-rich company. You would be considering interim dividend. But for a company which is sitting on about $8 billion of cash, how are you planning to utilize that cash? Are you looking at serious expansion in next 12 months or are we looking at a fat dividend payout on a regular basis from Coal India? What I'm trying to understand is the trajectory in which your cash will be utilized.
Yeah, certainly we are looking at the major expansion, but I would like to also clarify that whatever expansion plans we have, the best implementation of that also does not really require huge amount of cash. Annually we are looking at about 5,000 to 6,000 crores of capex in this 5-year plan. Therefore, certainly our plans do not require to draw down on the existing reserves. So that's because here half of our coal production we have outsourced, so the expenditure is more in the form of a revenue expenditure rather than the capex.
So what happens to that $8 billion kitty? Their current dividend payout ratio is less than 3%. Now that there is an instruction from Finance Ministry that use the cash or pay interim dividend for next financial year, can I expect a huge jump in your dividend yield?
Well, let's see. When we go to the board and what the shareholders demand, based on that we'll decide.
Government is the largest shareholder. They already have communicated their intent.
But that would be formally communicated, discussed in the board. Government of India nominees will be there.
Okay. Mr. Rao, really appreciate your time, and on behalf of everyone from ET Now, thank you for patiently answering all our questions.